I'm Richard Blackwell, and welcome to Jazz on My Mind. Today, we're at the wonderful WinWin Global Recording Studio in Studio City, California. I'm very excited to have with me three beautiful recording artists and producers, and we're going to talk to each and every one of them about this new song that's coming out right now. And first of all, with me today is Techeetah, beautiful young lady who's a vocalist and also a producer. Welcome to Jazz on My Mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we have Mr. David Cochrane, who happens to be a world-renowned producer. He's produced groups such as Atlantic Star, Evelyn King, Lionel Richie, and the Commodores. David, welcome to Jazz on My Mind.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
And sitting next to David, we have a renowned songwriter, also percussionist, extraordinaire, the one, the only, Mr. Paris Escovedo. Paris, welcome to Jazz on My Mind.
For me.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's good to see all three of you today, and I'm glad you can be here with me.
Definitely glad to be
Now, the reason we're here is because Techeetah, who's our star today, has a brand new song, and it is called So Fine Spanglish. Now, everyone remembers the title of that song from a hit from 1981 by Howard Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me where that correlates with your song. Is it the same song?
Well, yeah, actually it is the same song.
Wow, that's beautiful.
But it has a little Latin flair to it. Actually, it brings out that, it's like salsa, and it gives you more of a dancing beat to it, and actually it's going to rock this world.
Now, I've heard that song, So Fine, and it is a kicker.
Isn't it, though?
It's a kicker. Now, these two gentlemen, David and also Paris, tell me how they associated with So Fine.
Well, actually, I couldn't do any of this without David. If it wasn't for David and Paris.
Of course.
Well, you know, Paris put all that Latin in it with the timbales and the congas and everything.
Sounds good.
You know, put all that Latin flair. Without these two gentlemen, I can't. You know, and of course my musical director Gerardo, which couldn't be here today because of course you know he's at a gig, and of course Howard.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Of course, Howard.
We put together a cool team.
Yeah.
It was a great pleasure doing work with Techeetah.
Now tell me, David, if you would please, how did you and Techeetah first meet? How did this union come about?
Interesting story.
So funny.
I've done a lot of work with different artists. It would have been cool to mention Janice Marie Johnson from A Taste of Honey.
Had a big hit in 1977 called Boogie, Oogie, Oogie.
Yeah,
big song.
And also Sukiyaki.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
So Janice and I were doing a gig, and this is a few years back, in Fresno, California, which is where Techeetah has family, and she's from that region. She was there at a show. It was a 4th of July celebration. And
with my girls, Sherry Sweet Thing.
Sherry Sweet Thing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. She was the host of the show that station put it on.
Yes.
So we did a quick set, did 2 songs, and there were other acts on the show, and it was a 4th of July celebration, so there was to be Star Spangled Banner, or
of course, how apropos for 4th of July.
To be yes. So Evelyn King was also on that show.
Okay. Love Come Down, Shame.
Love Come Down, Shame, and her husband Freddie Fox, great guitar player.
Yes.
We're there talking, and it was extremely hot that day. So what happened was she said, "I'm going," and then there was Techeetah on the set. Janice and I were sitting in the car after the gig or before. We saw Techeetah, so there was automatically a visual connection between us. And then she approached Janice and said, I did a version of your song, Boogie Oogie Oogie, a Spanish version. And so it all kind of introduced with that, conversation.
Wow.
And then, since Evelyn was gone, the people at the station were like, well, who's going to sing this,
So Evelyn King just left.
She left.
It was too hot.
It was too hot, basically.
Yeah,
she left.
So
Techeetah was like, we were all conversating, Janice, myself, and Techeetah.
Right.
Just kicking it. It was behind backstage. The whole situation. It's outside gig, so extremely hot, and we were having a conversation. So she says, they wanted me to sing a song, Star Spangled Banner. Okay, we knew that she was a singer from the area, popular,
right,
hometown girl,
yeah,
beautiful. We all would give props to this girl here.
But wait, but I'm like, I don't know the words to the Star Spangled Banner.
And I said, don't worry. I mean, I'm a problem solver usually when it comes to work.
What did you do to?
So I had, I had just put some new guitar strings on my guitar. So I said, okay, pen. I said, okay, I'll say just put them down there and read them. You know, just do what you got to do. Just reference it.
Wow.
So we started writing it down, and so we kind of made that connection. And I was just like, okay, just do it. Do it.
No. He goes, oh, say, can you see? I'm like, wait a minute. By the dawn's early light. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to sing and read on. I'm like.
No, just refresh. I mean, really what it is what I do. If I have to sing a song on stage, what I do is write it out, have a review of it, you know, photogenic, read it. That's the best thing for anybody, I would say.
Yes.
If they're trying to refresh a quick memory of something that they kind of know is in this, back. So you take a quick, read of it, and then,
So tell me, how did it work
did it.
out?
She pulled it off. She pulled it off. We didn't see
Isn't
it.
that beautiful? Because
Janice and I left too. It was that blazing hot. But she did it, and then, there was a connection made. We traded numbers, and Janice was in touch with her. So there was a plan for Janice to do a version of Boogie Oogie with her.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So that was the original plan.
But I ended up doing So Fine first.
Well, I'm sure Boogie Oogie is coming.
Yes.
We've discussed it. And
It's gonna be
that's
happening.
another little highlight to come. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this young man here,
Oh, he came in the picture.
Mr. Cool Breeze.
After,
I love that.
Go ahead. You want to tell you how?
How did the association with you in Paris come about?
Well, me and my girlfriend, Sherry Sweet Thing, of course, me and her go way, way, way back. And actually, after everything takes off, she's actually going to be on our team sooner or later. She's a wonderful vocalist. And I was looking at her MySpace, and I'm like, wow, who's this great timbal player with this great music? And she says, oh, that's Paris, man.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yes,
He's this, he's that.
Yes, he is.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, well, hook me up with him. My gosh, I'd like to, have him on some of my music and stuff. And, sure enough, she goes, you know him, he knows you. And I go, he does? And she's like, yeah. So I call him, he goes, yeah, we know each other. I go, we do? And, he goes, yeah, we met him. So we hooked up, and he says, if you ever want me to put some stuff on your things, and I'm like, Paris, don't say that now, because if you know you exactly. Yeah. And sure enough, I called up David, and I said, David, we got to put Paris on So Fine.
So that was kind of like the frosting.
It was a great, great
addition.
I was like, okay, we're finished with the record, but we can, before we release it, we can fit it in.
Right.
And we were just breaking ground on this studio here. Me and a partner of mine, his name is Victor Holmes.
And this is a wonderful studio that you have here.
So, for the live things and stuff like that, because we recorded most of Techeetah's CD at my office studio over in Studio City right down the way, just private setting, focus, put the project together, and, pretty much have finished her whole CD. We launched it, the EP with the feature song so far. Anyway, so Paris is in the picture now.
Yeah.
We like, we really gonna get Paris to come do this? I'm like, yeah. A lot of people say things. You're like, oh, okay.
Paris, when you got the call, what was your initial reaction to get on the call?
Because she said, "Are you ready to do it? Let's go." David says, "Cool." I'm like, "Okay." and then he told you, "You're gonna get Paris Escovedo for free." And yeah, for free. Don't trip. He's my buddy. He's my homie.
Right.
I came in here. And we just went to work.
How was it? Let me ask all three of you. Howard Johnson, who had the original version of So Fine, now you have the So Fine Spanglish version. How was it working with Howard Johnson?
Well, I'm good friends with Howard. I just recently worked with him on a project overseas. There was another guy that he had done quite a few things with, named